My name is Don Hooton, and 15 years ago today, my younger brother Taylor committed suicide. Even though years have gone by, it's still very painful to this day to think about my brother and to share his story. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about him, but today I'd like to share his story with you because people need to know there is hope, that people are here to help those thinking about taking their life, and that suicide isn't the answer. While I was in my junior year of college, Taylor was in his junior year of high school. Taylor was a great kid who carried a high grade point average, had tons of friends, and a family that loved him dearly. Like so many of our young people today, he wanted to change his physical appearance. When Taylor was 16 years old, he began injecting himself with anabolic steroids. My brother was my best friend. We talked on the phone often since I was away at college, and there was a conversation that didn't seem like much to me at the time, but today still haunts me. About a week before Taylor took his life, we were on what would be our last family vacation together. He and I were walking along the beach when I asked him about his use of steroids, and he told me since the day he started using them, they made him feel strange, like he wasn't himself. And after asking him what he meant, he told me they made him feel aggressively depressed. And having never dealt with depression, I didn't know what he meant, and it never crossed my mind that I should ask him more questions to get the help he desperately needed. 4 days later, we were at the airport headed home from vacation. Taylor, my sister Mackenzie, and my parents were headed back to Dallas, and at the time, I was going to school in Pennsylvania, so I was headed back to Philadelphia. Standing at the airport, I gave my brother a hug, which would end up being the last time I'd see him alive. When I got back to my apartment at school, very tired from my travels, I had to go run a few errands before classes and baseball practice started back up. That morning, I'd forgotten my phone on the nightstand and went about my morning errands without it. When I walked back into my apartment, less than 2 hours later, I noticed I'd missed a few calls from my sister, who I'd known had gotten home safely. I picked up the phone and called her back, and I'll never forget the words that came out of her mouth. Taylor hung himself. So many things raced through my mind. I remember collapsing to the floor. I don't remember much from the short conversation, but I remember hearing the doctor coming in the room, letting our family know that he didn't make it. It's been 15 years since my brother passed away, and his death has left a hole in many lives. I know the pain will never go away, but if his story can save just one life, it's worth the pain it takes to talk about on a weekly basis. Suicide will leave people who you love and care about in pain for the remainder of their days on earth. Please, if you know somebody that's in this much pain, they've talked about taking their life, I'm begging you to please get them help. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and I promise you that you're not alone. I hope this story will encourage others to talk about how they're feeling and get themselves help if they need it. But take the time today to tell someone that you love them and that you care about them, because we're never guaranteed tomorrow. Thank you for letting me share Taylor's story with you and for the support that you provide us to allow us to continue doing the important work that we do to continue impacting lives.